Okay, this is the drawing that I did, and I've let it sit for a day or two. And in doing that, I can see that I have some things I want to address. So the light is shining through this window, and it should be hitting the bench here. So this should all be darker than it is. So I'm gonna darken that. And by putting it away for a few days, that actually really helped. I could cross hatch this, but I think I'm just gonna do this. This is a sketch, so I'm not worried about it being perfectly detailed drawing. And normally in class I would have you do that. But we've got a little bit different situation going here, so I just want you to experiment, have fun, learn the values. Some of you are pretty experienced in this already, and you will have your own style already coming through. What I want you to do is also to, along with the style that you're used to doing, I want you to incorporate those values. Make sure you can get lights, mediums, and darks. This feels like now that I put that a little bit darker, I'm kind of losing that completely. I'm not going to put the straight line there because my eye will go to that. I just want that to feel a little bit darker. I want the light to hit here a little bit more. So I'm going to I'm actually erasing in lines here to lead up to that cat. I'm going to add a shadow here because that should be making a shadow. This should all be in shadow, even though that wall is just a little bit darker. If I want that cat to look like he's found the sunshine to lay in, then I have to make everything else look darker. So even though to my eye it didn't feel that dark, it's got to feel dark enough here that you can see, oh, this is a picture of sunlight in shade. Now this floor is too light, so I'm going to add value this way. I'm going to make it darker here, and then I'm actually going to leave it kind of light where that bench is. I'm all still doing with that same pencil. So depending on how hard you press, how many layers you go over, you can make it darker. Okay, that's starting to look pretty good. I need this to feel like that's kind of in shadow there. But it feels like a little bit of that window is casting a shadow. Okay, to me that's looking a little bit better. Feeling more like the light's coming through the window and hitting the cat. So just a couple little changes can make a difference and help with that. I'm going to make this just a little bit darker so it feels like those are casting a shadow. I just want everything that's got the light hitting it to feel like the light is actually hitting it. Okay, I feel like that's better. Except for this bench right here. Even though this is the same object from here to here, if I make it lighter here, then it stands out from that. So, okay, you'll also notice that the perspective on this does not feel right. It doesn't feel, let me try this later. It doesn't feel exactly right to me. And part of the reason for that is that I kind of had to turn sideways because I was trying to get the camera to show on the drawing as I did it. So I wasn't straight to my board. So remember how we've discussed this in class a lot of times is when you're drawing, make sure that your face is parallel to your board, because if you've got a weird angle, everything's going to look skewed. Just like taking a photograph at a weird angle, you've got to get the right angle to make it feel like you're getting that perspective in there like it's straight on. This is a lost and found line, lines that start and stop. So, and I think this needs to be even darker. Feels better to me. If I go in another direction, I have to kind of disguise that so my eye doesn't go, oh, you went this direction, you went that direction. So I'm kind of playing with that a little bit and trying to disguise that. I'll get that in there. Okay, now the longer you look at something, the more you're going to want to do to it if you're anything like me. So you can see how I just keep going and going and going. So at some point, you just got to call it. So right now I'm just going to look at it. Is there anything that grabs my attention that doesn't feel right? Do I have full values? I have whites, lights, mediums here, and darks. Even though there's reflected light here, that's not making sense to my brain. I've got to make that darker here in order for my brain to make sense of what's happening in the photo. Can you see how that works? Does it feel more like it's in the shadow now to you? That's to me. Remember when you have something that casts a shadow, it's darker right next to the object, and that didn't have that, so that was kind of standing out to me. I also need, anytime you want your eye to go someplace or to have some contrast, make sure that you put it enough that you can see it if it's something that you need to notice. So I need to make sure these things cast shadows. They're darker now. I feel like I have a little bit better value range. I'm never going to get that with a pencil, but I can get close to this with a pencil, especially with that pencil that I was using. You can see that it gets in that range there. So after you do your assignment, let it sit a day or two, then go back and look at it and see what you might need to address. If you're not comfortable changing things that you saw, don't change them. I've just done this enough that I feel like, this is what I need to do for this. So